And I was legit, you know, I'll save the story for in game. I'll put this on the VOD so I can embarrass myself there too. Alright, this is the ESL Go for StarCraft, or no, autopilot mode disengage. This is the ESL STARBOW tournament number 8. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the semifinals between these two players. It's a fresh series, a brand new best of 3, and spawning in the lower left corner of the map, it's going to be the yellow Protoss player Cube. Gosu Cube. And his opponent in the upper right, he's green, he's Terran. It's going to be Beastyqt. So to explain the story while we get this game open here, I needed a new mouse pad. Legit. I bought a new mouse because the one I have right now keeps doing the stupid thing where, like, if you guys have been watching my cast recently, it's been happening a lot more than it has normally, where it's like suddenly it just pans over like this, and it's such a pain to deal with, and I really hate that, like, I don't know if the laser's broken or what the deal is, and I don't want it to affect the cast anymore. So I bought a new mouse, and in getting a new mouse, I realized I probably need a new mouse pad. For those who don't know the current mouse pad, I'm using this like Doge one. I got off that $1 website. Like, hang on, I'm gonna break the cast for just one sec. This is my mouse pad. All right. At any rate, I realized I need a new mouse pad because this one's kind of getting worn out too. What do you expect? For $1, it doesn't exactly have durability tied into it. So I was on eBay and I saw these, like, I didn't even know there's like these booby mouse pads, like anime mouse pads with the gel foam things for your wrists, or like the boobs of the anime girls. And I kind of jokingly was like, LOL, maybe I should get one of these. And my friend's like, you totally should. And I was like, I can't justify spending money on this. And then I realized Joecast was a total badass, and he actually donated a little bit of money to me in Zombie Grub recently. And I was like, you know what? If you think about it, it's not really my money I'm wasting if I do this. So I have a booby mouse pad coming, and I'm not sure if I'm proud of that or not. But I will show it off, of course, in spades when I do get it. Probe getting across the map here from Cube. We'll start poking at the SCVs. Two big questions going to be open here and asked of Beastyqt. One of the big ones being, of course, like, does he go mech or not? Mech seems to be the best way to play this game all around. There are some bio pushes that seem to work versus Zerg players, but realistically, it seems to be mech, and more mech out of Beastie than anything else. And that's totally cool. It works. Vultures are fantastic. Goliaths are pretty good at zoning most units, and tanks, of course, are kind of the end-all be-all for your army value. But for Cube, we just saw a pretty good PvP. He's definitely one of the players who's I would higher rank when it comes to the STARBOW ladder, quote unquote. There is no actual STARBOW ladder, if you're wondering why I'm putting quotes there. But there are people who actively play STARBOW a lot, that compete in these tournaments, and they're good, and Cube is one of them. So coming up against Beastyqt, we'll see what he ends up doing. I keep saying QT, but I mean to say cutie, like cutie pie. Stargate on the way is going to be one of the options he opts to go for. This will be really nice. Drop ships aren't really that prevalent in TVP. Beastyqt is, though, one of the rare people who does use drop ships for vultures on a regular basis. So having the option to get a Corsair later will be nice. No ward will always be a fantastic thing to have available to you. As I recently learned, it can attack air, which is pretty cool. But most importantly, it provides this gigantic slow. And let's be honest, guys, without Time Warp, storms are a little bit still kind of hard to land even against mech units, but if you put a null horde down, you blanket like 12 vultures, even with those ion thrusters, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And it will be a sentinel coming out first, chrono boosted even to make it come out a little bit quicker. A proxy robo facility. Whoa. Beastie first off has no knowledge this is coming. But a proxy robo is kind of a cool thing to see. This will, of course, most likely be utilized for Reavers. Warp Person will come out first, and it'll lift some Reavers into the main. I like these cool tactics, I really do. Beastyqt scans. He sees a very weird amount of tech in the base of Cube, because I think he confirmed with that SCV that there was no natural down. Sees the Stargate, another SCV going to come in, and it's going to be this huge question of like, okay, what is going on? You've got no expansion, you're relying on one Stargate, what do you really have? And that might clue him into the fact that there could possibly be some sort of proxy, although I don't know if you would necessarily know what kind of proxy. At any rate, one of the big disadvantages of playing mech is you don't have a lot of anti-air, so SCVs are being spread out to make sure the null ward damage is minimal. Still doesn't really have a solid way to deal with this Sentinel. It does have the Goliath now coming towards the main. Goliaths, as you can see though, guys, don't exactly have a ton of damage associated with them. I mean, they hit pretty hard, but... or, sorry, pretty fast, but they don't hit pretty hard is the sad thing. But it's going to be the Warp Person first. I was hoping it would be for Reavers, but instead it's going to be used for the Dragoon and the Zealot to get to the main. He's just going to elevator them up that cliff. Could technically kite around with the Goliath. Get some Vultures out too. but coming towards the main. Couple more. No ward's going to be placed down. Goliath can, of course, deal with these pretty easily. As we see, he's going to shoot them before they even arm. Little bit curious on that scan. Maybe he thought you needed to stealth detect? I don't know. Anyways, Goliaths are going to try and get on top of this. They do have a pretty good amount of damage with them, but unfortunately, the Dragoons and these Zealots do hit pretty darn hard. He's going to pull the SCVs to zone out a little bit for this, but of course, what he would love to do is repair if given the opportunity. Sadly, not given the opportunity. These Goliaths are incredibly important to keep alive. Can you not see null wards while they're arming? I'm guessing that must be the case. No, you can. I don't know why he's scanning. Okay, whatever. Protoss, right? Anyways, he holds on to that pretty nicely. Beastyqt, that is. Doesn't lose too much to it. Still has to worry about these oracles as well as the threat of another warp prism. Does he know about the robo? He still doesn't know that that's there. Complete. Yikes. So a couple zealots loaded up into this. That's really late Singularity Charge coming out here out of Cube too, but I guess not that big of a deal because he was relying more on zealots than anything else, combined with the Sentinel use. But this is what I like seeing. So we talked a little bit earlier about Protoss units, and one of the biggest problems in STARBOW at the moment seems to be that a lot of Protoss players get stuck on that sort of tier 1 tech. You know, gateway units, zealots, dragoons, you don't see them really get further than that. But already opening this game with the usage of combination of Warp Prism and Sentinels, he's not exactly getting a ton of harass off, unfortunately, but he's making the right moves, and I feel like that's a really strong indicator that this is going to be a very good series. Did I say oracles? I keep meaning to say sentinels. I do apologize for that. Ugh. They die like oracles, at least. They perform the same function. There you go. They're meant to be a little bit harassy if given the opportunity. I actually kind of like the way... Again, this is so dumb. Like, I in no way am going to try and imply that STARBOW is superior to StarCraft 2 or vice versa. But one thing I do enjoy is the fact that the actual mechanics behind a Sentinel, in my opinion, are a lot cooler than that of an Oracle. And they're not as gimmicky, like, oh, YOLO, get 10 worker kills even if you don't have enough Marines type thing. But they harass, they're annoying, they got the potential for damage. I like the mechanics behind it. I think it's a really well-created unit. But of course, borrowing units or aspects from both games, STARBOW's had a lot to work with. Unfortunately, this Sentinel looks like it might go down. Yeah. +1 weapons all the way from this forge, and of course a very late natural base has been established for Cube. It kind of sucks that this had to go down for this was delayed for so long, but unfortunately it was like the only thing he could really do at this point after that failed harass. There's no follow-up all-in, of course, and well, it would be cool to have Reavers down. I think the defense out of Beastyqt at this point is way too solid. Like, if you decide to go Reavers this late, it's just, well, surprise, there's siege tanks down already, there's turrets, there's Goliaths. It would be a waste of an investment. So I like that Cube's opted to not go for it. What I don't like, though, is again, he's relying heavily on Dragoon tech. Dragoons are going to be a big part of any army composition. That's fine. But relying purely on Dragoons, it's like watching someone try and win a game with purely Ultralisks. When's the last time that ever happened? You need some sort of support unit. And unfortunately, despite the kiting going on here, still being chased back towards his base, that's a lot of tanks and a lot of Goliaths on the way, and I don't know if Cube can necessarily hold this. He's going to have enough time to start chrono out units. 3 at a time will certainly be what he needs. But Beastie's already marching across the map in a huge force, and Goliaths, again, they're kind of that really nice middle unit. They fare well versus everything. They're not particularly great versus one thing, but they're the jack of all trades. They work well versus all. Siege tanks are going to get sieged up here, and unfortunately, Cube is completely out of position on the map. Perhaps went hunting, perhaps wanted to go for an attack. Either way, not where he needs to be. Siege tanks are going to siege up, and coming from the behind are these Dragoons. Now, Siege tanks have a very long cooldown on their attack, giving Cube range or time to get within range of the Siege tanks. That being said, there's just simply not enough Dragoons to deal with the Goliaths after he takes out these tanks. Good game. Rather abrupt, but some cool harass options nonetheless. Props to Cube. But BC takes it 1-0 so far in the semifinals.